There wasn't one night when I was going to sleep as a child when I didn't hear voices in another room screaming.
My daughter said to me recently, she said, you know, Dad, it's interesting to read all these wonderful things about you as the Dalai Lama, this, you know, this spiritual giant and everything. And she said, every now and then I think about the fact that when we were kids, you weren't there.
You know, when you look at the addiction field or, you know, or alcoholism on this case, is, you know, there's a lot more children of alcoholics than there are alcoholics.
People say I'm an expert. I am not an expert. The kids are the experts. They're teaching me all the time. A 10-year-old said, alcoholism turns the people we love into strangers.
$250,000 people are dying a year in this country as a result of this disease, and very little is being done about it.
I always say I know a lot of really rich, very good-looking, extremely talented, dead alcoholics.
I ruined my life with drugs and alcohol. I almost died with drugs and alcohol.
Boy, I used to swear up and down, I will never be like her. It's just disgusting, I can't stand it, you know, I will never be like her. And I ended up just like her.
My father passed away in my arms while I was high on crack cocaine. I robbed my family of my mother of her entire life savings, and it was one thing after the other. And I did not know what was wrong with me.
This little girl draws this picture, and it's a heart that's broken. And I had her explain it, and she says, this is the part of my heart that belongs to my mom. And this is the part of my heart that belongs to my dad. But when they both drink, my heart breaks. My heart is broken.
And then they try to figure out, how can I be better next time so it doesn't happen again? But in the alcoholic home, that's an endless game. You can play that game till the cows come home, and you can never win that game. Because you can't get good enough to keep your parent from getting drunk.
Nobody deserves to live with the fear that people live with addiction. These kids don't deserve to live with it, the partners don't deserve to live with it, and the addict doesn't deserve to live with it.
I turned to another human being and I said, I'm dying, I'm scared to death, and I have no idea what to do. Will you help me?
If you get treatment, you're probably going to have a more stable life. If you have a more stable life, you're going to create an environment for your children that's more stable.
I get the call from my son saying he wants to go to treatment, and I started to think, wow, you know, I'm clean and sober 5 years, his mother hasn't used in a few years, and now my son. I said, I think maybe recovery is contagious.
The recovery movement is strong, and it is getting bigger.
I mean, I thank God every day in my prayers at night that my children know me as a sober dad, not as the man that I was prior to that.
There's still suffering children out there who don't have to be suffering. There are suffering adults out there who don't have to be suffering. I mean, what we're dealing with is bad enough. We don't have to deal with it in silence.